So this is the Deanne Rose show now. Take over. Well, with Leonard. With Leonard, yes.
Okay, so you, we're ready to excuse me. I need this water. Reorganization of the board and oath of office, and we'll start out. I guess we want somebody to make a nomination for the board president. Do we have a nomination?
I make a nomination that we elect Suzanne Cannon for board president.
I will second that.
Okay, we have a vote in a second, a motion in a second. Vote, please.
Yes.
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 Okay, second item is vote to elect board vice president. I would nominate Brian Colson.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Vote, please.
Yes.
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 Yes. Okay, item 3C. Well, 3C didn't want to come up here. Okay, here we go. Vote to elect board clerk. Do we have a nomination?
I nominate Cody Sanders.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Vote, please.
Mrs. Cannon.
Yes.
Mr. Colson.
Yes.
Mr. Sanders.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, vote to elect deputy clerk.
Make a motion that we elect Leonard Wells for your board deputy clerk.
Okay, do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. A vote, please.
Mrs. Cannon.
Yes.
Mr. Colson.
Yes.
Mr. Sanders.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Last item, vote to elect board member.
I move we vote to elect Jeff Beheimer to board member.
Okay, do we have a second? Okay, we have a vote, a motion and a second. Vote, please.
Mrs. Cannon.
Yes.
Mr. Colson.
Yes.
Mr. Sanders.
Yes.
Mr. Wells.
Yes. Okay. Now, do we get up and play musical chairs, or do we have a roll call first?
Let's do the oath of office.
Okay.
You all know your names and positions?
Yep.
Awesome. I state your name.
Leonard
Lee
Wells.
Sanders.
Hereby
Clear
declare
and road.
That I
I will
will
faithfully perform the duties of the clerk. United
Non-public
States
school.
Schools
For
of Education.
To the best
Best
of my ability.
and that I
And I
will
will
faithfully
faithfully discharge all the duties pertaining to said
said
office
and
and
obey
obey the Constitution and laws of the United States and Oklahoma.
Well done. Congratulations.
We were at least as good as third grade.
Yeah, please. So if
Okay.
you'd like to shuffle.
Is it
Or
time to
if you just want to move the gavel over.
That sounds good to me.
Okay, that works.
Easy.
I like that idea. So now you're in charge. You're
Are
in.
we going to have a new roll call?
Mr. Beheimer.
Here.
Mrs. Cannon.
Here.
Mr. Colson.
Here.
Mr. Sanders.
Here.
Mr. Wells.
Here.
Okay. Reports and comments from the superintendent.
I have a few, so you'll have to bear with me tonight. Normally, I don't have many. So I want to start off addressing the latest situation. First of all, welcome back, Mr. Beheimer. We're glad to have you back. I tried to get the welcome back Cotter theme, but couldn't find it on such short notice because it's a surprise. All right, so one of the obviously school safety is on everybody's mind and has been for quite a while, and it's always a present concern, especially over the weekend here in Yukon. One of the things that we have talked about on multiple occasions, and I want to reiterate, is the steps that we have taken as a district to secure our buildings for our students without making them a prison. And that's something that we take very, very seriously. And I know we had talked about in the past, the new camera systems that we have this year at all our entrances and all of our buildings. You know, we do things, other things that, just like we have talked about, we're not going to address in a public meeting,
Yes.
because we are not going to share vital information that someone can use against us. But we do take it very seriously. You know, we have our SROs. Being in Yukon, one of the fantastic things that we have is the response time from our police force. And they are patrolling constantly. They'll randomly park in parking lots. So that on top of our SROs and everything else is quite a thing. And we are blessed. So as far as the things that transpired this weekend, I just can't speak highly enough about our Yukon Police Department, Oklahoma City, and Canadian County, and how well they interacted with each other, how fast they got to the root of the problem, and how well Mrs. Barlow interacted with them and the communication. It was really, I mean, it was stressful, but at no time did I think that it was out of control because of the people that were involved. They worked hard. I mean, let me rephrase it. You can't control everything, but I knew they were working as hard and fast as they could for our kids. At 7:00, we had a all district meeting with all of our administrators because we wanted to make sure everybody was on the same page. And that's when we came out with our first option. And then as things progressed and we knew we weren't going to be able to find the person by the time school started, we opted for ultimately for the shutdown for safety, for everyone's safety. And I just, again, the efforts that people put forth to find these people, it shouldn't go unnoticed. And we are really, really grateful. And it happens, and we've had this before, whether it be social media or phone or whatever threats, that the ability to track people is really phenomenal. I mean, we've had Snapchat things, and we've had the people found overnight, you know, and they've gone to the person's home. We've had them find them in Tacoma, Washington. There was something, the one in Norman the other day was it was from a different country. I don't remember where it was. The ability to track them should let people know that it's not something we're just going to overlook, and we can't overlook. So my final comment on that, and this is, and I generally don't get preachy, and I'm not trying to be preachy, but I think we have to say in a public setting that, you know, schools don't teach bullying. We don't teach kids to hate. We don't teach kids to make threats or commit violent acts against anyone. That's not what schools do. And, you know, to suggest that the societal ills are the school's fault, it's just wrong. And sometimes that is the dialogue that's out there. It doesn't matter if it's a public school, a private school, a charter school, a virtual school. It doesn't matter. It's not who we are as educators. That's not what we do. We love and protect kids as best we can. So that's my preachy moment. And so I'm going to stop there, but just know we do work really hard to keep kids safe. So Desiree, you go next, and I have one more thing after Miss Desiree finishes. Okay?
Okay.
Well, two things, actually.
Okay. Miss Kayla's going to transition. We're going to talk about textbook adoption. We are at the end of our textbook adoption selection, and this year is secondary ELA. So I prepared 5 slides, so very short and sweet, but I wanted to kind of give you a little bit of a history of how we work this. This is our 6th adoption, and we are very, very fortunate and blessed in Yukon that we use our textbook money from the state, but we also have an allocation every year that comes through our bond. And so we are able to use those funds to help make sure we are meeting the needs of our students and our teachers. ELA has not had new resources in over 16 years. and standards have changed. We have new books, we have a lot of things. And so this is our opportunity to bring those rich resources into the hands of our kids. And so that being said, I'm going to use my little clicker here, and we're going to hope that it works, Kayla, but it may not. There we go. And so the adoption cycle is 6 years, and it is set forth by the state of Oklahoma. Last year was ELA and pre-K. And this year is secondary ELA and world languages. And so our middle school and high school Spanish classes will also be getting new resources. Next year, we are back to K through 12 math, which is a huge adoption for us. And then we will round out the cycle with 24-25 being fine arts and computer science, all having standards. 25-26 social studies, and 26-27 science. I will say on the science and social studies, this last adoption that we have, pre-K through 3 has really welcomed the adoption of social studies and science and has used it, and they're very excited. Lance had worked with the curriculum team, and we put up kind of a system to where they weren't teaching 4 subjects at the same time, but 3 in kind of unit. And this year they have requested to change that back. So we're excited to get science and social studies into our youngest learners, 4-year-olds all the way up. And so that kind of rounds out that 6-year cycle. The State Department does also have a state textbook committee. They have little committees that work the year before it goes to the state textbook committee. But that textbook committee has 12 members, and those are appointed by the governor, and each must have more than 5 years of teaching experience. The committee is comprised of 2 members from each congressional district and 2 that are from the state at large, and then 1 that is considered a lay citizen. They are somebody that does not have an education certificate, but they must have a child in the public school setting. The 13th member of the committee is the state superintendent of public instruction or his or her designee. And so once the curriculum teams at the State Department of Education come together, they do their RFP, they select their process, a committee comes together to make up this committee, and then those make the recommendation to the State Board of Education. The State Board of Education does approve a list. And so the goal is to gather as many resources that meet the needs of the students and the teachers in Oklahoma. Oklahoma is a small state compared to others. Textbook companies do not write textbooks for the children of Oklahoma. They write textbooks for New York, for California, for Florida, for Texas. Those are big population states. And so what the State Department of Ed looks for and what we look for as well is it a resource that covers and meets the needs of 80% of the Oklahoma academic standards? And we know that. And then that tells us that our work is to make sure we find resources to supplement the other 20%. And so that's part of the state's job, and then that's part of our job as our committee in working to meet the needs of our community. The state of Oklahoma, the textbook fund that we receive a little less than $460,000. I will let you know that one ELA textbook is almost $200. So $450,000 is not a lot of money when you're talking about the number of kids that we have. But the textbook fund can only be used on textbooks that are approved by the state. And that being said, our process starts in December. So we start in December, and we are now going to show you what our recommendation is tonight. Any questions about the cycle before I go on to the next slide?
Are these appointees the ones who were there before the election, or are they all new now?
The state textbook Board of Education approved the list on December 1st. And so that was under previous Superintendent Hoffmeister's state superintendent, but the governor was still the governor.
And it's pretty much the current Board of Education.
Yeah, and it's current. Yeah. I think he changed out one
Yeah, one or
in the
two,
last, but it's still under the same. It's a great question. Thank you, Suzanne. All right, the next is I'm going to talk about kind of what we do, if it will click for me, or Kayla's going to click for me, maybe. Technology at its
I
finest.
see a mouse.
I see a mouse, and I have a clicker, and it's been working great. So that being said, okay, Yukon starts in December where we select our committee. Those committee members are then let known that we would invite you to be a part of our selection committee. And our first committee meeting is in January. And so we bring the committee together. We hear from the teachers. We try to get 2 or 3 per grade level. We hear from the teachers and we say, what is working well with what you have, what is not, and what are you looking for? Always with the goal that whatever we purchase must be aligned to the Oklahoma academic standards. So we have that meeting in January. Then we go on to what's called Caravan. And so that's where the textbook people, Caravan people come. They travel throughout the state of Oklahoma. Ours is in Oklahoma City. And they come and it's like speed dating with textbooks. They come, you have 55 minutes, they have a big clock, they drop all the resources, and it's like, go. And they go through all of the things. And so after that committee, after we do that, it's like drinking from a fire hose, no pun intended. And we come back and we say, which ones do we want? So we bring the committee back together and we go through a very systematic cycle of what we're looking for based on what the teachers want. Our philosophy is that if it's the teachers that are using this, I do not vote, our coordinators do not vote, it is the teachers' vote. And so the committee attends, the committee comes together, and we just start breaking it down. And that committee's role is to narrow it down to 2 or 3 based on that criteria. Once we get those textbook vendors identified, then samples are sent to the sites and placed in a centralized location. And then we also have the textbooks here. And if you notice, those were spread around in our boardroom last month. And that is the opportunity for all the teachers to take a look, but also for our public to come in and look at any of the resources that we have that we're choosing from. And we always ask Dr. Simroth to make a public comment in March. That way parents know that they can come in, they can look, ask any questions, et cetera.
And how is the committee selected?
How is the committee selected? We take principal feedback, but I will be honest, a lot of it is teachers that volunteer and then our coordinators that know that are leads into the work of what we do every month with them. And so it's kind of a collaboration. We, if a teacher's going to retire or we know a teacher is leaving, we don't invite that teacher to the committee because they are making a selection for the next 6 years. And so it's kind of a balance in that regard. For our littles, for our lowers, we spread it out. But for our middle school and high school, it is selected with a collaboration between the principal and the coordinator. But we don't bring everybody in, if that's what you're asking, because that's like 30. We would not get anywhere.
No, I was trying to get a kind of grasp on how we're selecting the teachers that are involved.
We try to have some in there that are growth mindset. We also try to select some that are very traditional in their teaching, but also those that dive into the work. The standards are changing. The ELA standards changed last year. And so those teachers that know their standards, know that work, we have some that aren't as engaged in that work. And so we try to put those people on the committee that know what standards that we're looking for and know the subject of ELA.
And one of the things that we tried to do over the last few years is make sure that there are the workshops in here that every teacher is invited to come and sample.
Yep.
And they fill out rubrics and they delve into the presentations and they take those back and give them to their representatives from the sites that are chosen. So all the teachers have an opportunity to participate. Yep. But there is a group that it's kind of like a representative group. One of the things that we've also done, and I think if we did it this year, I'm not sure, is if you don't come to learn about the programs, about the textbooks, about the curriculum, then you're not allowed to vote at your school because you don't know what you're voting on. And so that has really encouraged almost all teachers to come in. She's probably going to talk about it.
This committee
right now.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. I'm glad that he knows.
I know.
Makes me happy.
I'm all in, babe.
This committee is a lot like what you all do. You all represent your districts, your regions. This committee right here represents junior English, represents senior English, represents AP, represents special ed, represents EL, represents 7th grade, 8th grade, et cetera. That's what this committee does. And then like what Dr. Simroth was saying, they go back after they narrow that down. Those samples are sent back. And then this is where all the teachers get the opportunity. And then after that, we schedule in-person meetings. So this room, the conference room, the PDC will have vendors where every teacher is invited to come. And they're actually required to come if they want to vote. We want to have an informed vote. And so every teacher comes, they must attend 2 presentations to get a voting ballot. And then they receive a ballot via Google form. And that helps us ensure that only one person is voting per, and that also helps us track. That way we've had people go, well, I didn't vote for that. And we were like, yeah, you did. And so it kind of, you put your money where your mouth is in that sense, because we're not going to vote for something and then say we didn't, when this is a huge investment into our community, into our kids. And then that voting does take place over a 1-week window. Does that help, sir? The process a little bit? Okay. And so the voting in Yukon, and it's not going to go, so I'm just going to talk about it. The voting in Yukon happened the week before spring break. And the high school, and these are our selections, our 6th through 8th grade. So our 6th grade, 7th grade, and 8th grade, because 6th grade at the State Department level is considered secondary. And so they are in this adoption. And so 6th, 7th, and 8th grade went with Study Sync, which is a McGraw-Hill product. McGraw-Hill is a company that we have used in the past. 9 through 12 is called My Perspectives. It is a Savvis product, formerly known as Pearson, but they were bought out, and it's a Savvis product. And then world languages is Q, Cherie, however, I'm not a Spanish speaker. And that is from Carnegie Learning. And so the teachers did a great job. Drew Price is our ELA coordinator. He did a nice job facilitating this process. There's one more slide that I wanted to make sure, because I think this is where we'll get some questions along the way. And that is our ELA and novels. And so selecting a textbook was pretty simple. Now, when we go into the ELA teachers, we all have our passions of what novels we should teach. And with every adoption, the textbook company gives us so many novels. And so right now we currently have an approved district novel list. It helps ensure that we're not reading the same book. We're not reading The Outsiders in 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th grade, because we love it. So we have that list. And so it's going to be reviewed over the summer and into the fall. Click for me, Miss. Thank you. Each adoption provides a set number, like I said, and that encourages that independent reading, but also small group reading, such as lit circles and so forth. Click, click. Novels will support the state standards and will be reflective of our community as stated by state law. There is a new law that was passed last year for the librarians that our library should reflect our community. And our librarians do a really good job of that. And that law we are going to use for our novels for our ELA classes. The novel committee includes teachers, administrators, and parents. And so that will start in June, like I said, and go through the fall. It doesn't have to be completed before August, because we don't start the school year right off with a novel. So we have a little bit of time there. But this gives us an opportunity to ensure that we've evaluated what our standards are, where they need to be. And this also helps us make sure that, like I said, we're not reading the same novel in multiple grades. Some novels, like The Outsiders, sometimes floats between 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. And so we want to make sure that it's properly placed based on the new standards, and that we're not just reading it because we love it. And so it needs to have a purpose, and it needs to meet the standards of the intent. And so a great thing with novels is you can have a whole lot of standards for a lot of different novels, but we want to be mindful in that it's meeting the needs of our kids.
And one of the things that we have,
Nope. That's
one of
it.
the things that we have done in the past, and I think we did it last year, we have the list of the library books, novels from all these people. We have those on. Are they in Destiny?
We have all the novels in Destiny with that, and yes, and we
Right.
have a list of those on our website.
Right. So that's where I was headed. All the novels we have through our ELA and our library books are online. So they're out there, and we have had requests for that list, and we have shared them at least twice that I know of. So
Yep.
that's never an issue.
Okay, Desiree, for those people watching from home, can you tell us what ELA is?
English language arts. So it's the grammar, the English, the grammar, I don't know, reading, writing, grammar, everything that falls into that category.
Okay.
Is that good?
Well, we're
Yeah.
a field that is full of acronyms.
Yes, we
and
are. My
lots
apologies,
of
ma'am.
People don't know
Yep.
what they are.
That's
I
exactly
don't
right.
know what some
Yep.
of them are.
You bet.
And so it's always nice when you guys all speak to us, if you'll tell us what you're talking about.
Fair
My
point.
apologies, ma'am.
And for our people at home, if
bet.
that would, I mean, I know what ELA is, but we've got to make sure that everybody knows.
Fair enough.
Thank you. That was very good. And I really like that our novels are online.
Yeah, the list is online and it'll be updated before we start into next year. Yes, sir.
Mr. Beasley.
Just curious, what percentage of teachers are disqualified because they don't meet the standard or the criterion to be able to vote?
Very few, I will be honest. It's very, very minimal. We started this process 6 years ago with math because we had heard, they go and they say, well, what do you think? What do you think? What do you think? And so we kind of eliminated the buddy system. We want you to have an informed vote. We have people come, the high school actually had vendors come to the high school and the middle school to make it easy for them to do because of their schedule.
Right.
And then we had them after school as well. And so we make it multiple times, but it's an investment. They have to come, but very few don't vote.
One of the things that I heard when I first got here, that we've worked really hard as a group to remedy is district office told us we had to teach this curriculum. And, it was forced upon us. But so we worked very hard to change that and be very collaborative about it and make sure everybody's in it for the right reasons and that it is that you want the classroom experts, you want them to have a huge part in this because, they're on the ground and they know the kids. And so we've been doing this, like she said, this piece with the qualifications for the last
6 years.
6 years.
It's harder at the elementary level because there's more teachers and, you have 35
Mhm.
per. And so there's a lot more, but I would say our very first time when we looked at that number, it was like 85% voted. And so it's well over 75%.
It's more than we
I would
get in
assume
a
you want some
presidential election.
Buy-in.
100%.
Right.
And they need to have buy-in. And I tell them, I don't pick it. I'm not teaching it. I'm not picking it. My job is to facilitate and make sure you have good options that meet the needs of the state standards to ensure our students are prepared. You're welcome. Anybody else?
Thank you, Desiree.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Okay, so just a couple more things. One of them is a little bit of celebration. Our athletic director's got some announcements to make. Mr. Henson, Coach Henson, AD Henson. I'm still not sure how to address him in public yet.
It'll always
Brian.
be coach, regardless of a coach or
always
not.
be coach.
Just here to talk about two of our coaches. Last week, I went to the Region 1 meeting for the Oklahoma Coaches Association and had the privilege of nominating two of our coaches for Regional Coach of the Year. Coach Joe Snyder for wrestling and Coach Barney Moon for tennis. Done outstanding jobs this year. Still spring sports, so Coach Moon's still working along, trying to get that team the best that they can be. Coach Moon was also recognized as the representative for Region 1 to be an all-state coach this year. And so he's just got to finish that application process and let the Oklahoma Coaches Association board members appoint who that all-state coach is. So I'm going to let them come up and say a little bit about their seasons and
Yeah,
whatnot. So.
Come on, guys. It's good. We are, I have to apologize for the lack of the crowd this evening. We didn't anticipate the events that surrounded the day that allowed for a lot of people to stay home. But the accolades and the respect that we have for you guys, it's not diminished by the people that aren't in this room. We just want you to know that we're so proud and so thankful you guys are here. So brag about your kids and your stuff.
Well, my name is Coach Moon, and it's quite an honor to be here in front of you this evening. This award means a lot to me. And it means a lot to our tennis program here at Yukon. We have worked really hard at becoming one of the premier programs in the state, and I think we've been able to handle our own. So I'm real excited. I was looking around the room, and I know a lot of you through tennis and through all the years that, as you can see, I'm quite old. So I've been around forever, and I know a lot of you. I know for many, many years, and it's just really cool to be here and be a part of this. Thank you so much for having me, and I'm humbled by the honor. Thank you.
Thank you, Coach.
I'm Joe Schneider. I was here not too long ago, just congratulating my guys for all the accomplishments that they have made. Now this is kind of back on me, but it's not about me. It's about my program and the assistant coaches that I have that are involved in the community involvement that we have. We have great support. We have great people that are involved on the mat, off the mat, and super proud of our guys. Coach Hinson for the nomination and for the vote. I appreciate that. I wasn't able to make it that night, but he did a great job of getting me up there and getting me for that vote. I'm super proud and super honored to have that vote for Region Coach of the Year. The cool thing is that I was also voted for FCA Coach of the Year as well. So this past week, I found that out the very same night that I found out that I was Region Coach of the Year. And for the 17 years I've been here, I think this marks number 8 that I've been the Region Coach of the Year. So I'm kind of proud of that. I think that's really neat. But more importantly, for the boys and the program, that they really work hard, and blessed to have the great season that we had. We finished 9th in the state this year with 9 state qualifiers and 2 state placers. So a lot of fun. Once Miller, always Miller. Right?
Outstanding. Thank
Glad
you,
to
Joe.
be here. Thanks for
Appreciate
having
it.
me.
Thank you very much. So my final thought for tonight is, I think we would not be doing him justice if we didn't bring Dr. Brunk tonight. Dr. Brunk's last board meeting, I'm going to get emotional. I know he is. I would say that probably his most egregious error was when he called me about 9 years ago and said, "Hey, you should apply for this job." So you can blame him for everything, good and bad. He was here for what, 10 years as an assistant. 5 years as an assistant. He's been in this role for 10 years. And like I said, I've been here with him finishing up 9. And it's incredible where we've come since he started. We've grown thousands of students. But more importantly, Jason he's always selling. He's always sold Yukon. He's always recruited. We started with one of the lowest. He pushes a lot. He asks for a lot of money for teachers and custodians and bus drivers and stuff. And I think we're just really blessed that we're able to get that, because he's efforted in getting us from one of the lowest salaries in 6A in the state to one of the highest in the state for our certified teachers. And he's increased the efficiency of the department. He's increased the quality of our staff. He's never been afraid to tackle the hard stuff, to tackle ushering people out that aren't serving the needs of the students. And that's not an easy thing in public education. So it's been very hard. That's a hard thing to do. He's always recruiting. He's just worked so hard to make the human resource department of Yukon one of the best in the state, and while still not having one of the largest in the state for a district our size. So, Dr. Brunk, thank you, and you'll be missed. Now I'm done. Sorry it took so long.
Okay. This was all good stuff.
All good stuff.
Okay, board member communications and announcements. Cody?
Board member comments?
Yes.
Change positions and I still go first.
You want to be second?
I'm good.
Okay.
First I'll start off with recognizing our new board member, Jeff Beheimer. Welcome.
Thank you.
I think it takes a lot of service to do this job, and I'm glad to see you up here. I know you've been here before. One of the few up here that don't recognize you, so
Nice mustache.
Looking forward to get to know you. Second, Dr. Brunk, thank you for your service to Yukon Public Schools and for having to put up with the things you put up with. Lebsack, Haggard. In all seriousness,
Yeah.
thank you. Thank you so much for this time you put in. And then last, we've already addressed it once. I'll address it again. We were closed today for safety issues, and this is becoming too common in our country, and it's not something we like to see. It's not something I will get a lot of communication, and it's not something that I can just openly discuss everything we're doing to prevent the ongoing nature of these kind of things that are happening, because we have to keep some of this secretive. It's a security issue, but I promise you there is nobody on this board, there is nobody in this admin team, there is nobody in this building that wants anything bad to happen to these kids or our employees. We take that very serious, and it's on the top of our minds most days. That being said, I'm sure this will spark some more conversation. We'll revisit what we're doing, and we'll become better. Our promise to you is we will be progressive in our actions to deal with not just what Yukon Public Schools is having to go through. It's not just the state of Oklahoma. This is a national thing that's going on. So we will promise to be on the tip of the spear and be progressive in dealing with this issue. That's all I got tonight.
That's great. Thank you, Cody.
You're very welcome.
Brian?
I don't know if I can follow that. First of all, I want to say thank you, Dr. Simmeroth, for making that tough decision today to keep our kids safe. Like Cody was saying, this is not just a Yukon, Oklahoma. This is just a national issue that we have to figure out what the best way to fix the situation is. That's really all I've got tonight.
Jeff?
This is normally where I say no comment. But I would say I'm glad to be back, and it's a choice to be back. So I look forward to getting to know the people I don't know and seeing familiar faces. And it's no coincidence that Jason is leaving whenever I'm starting again. So, but no, I look forward to it. That's all I gotta say.
Thank you. Leonard?
Okay. Well, as most of you know, I usually take this opportunity to talk about some of the school activities I've got to be involved with. But this past month, I kind of was sidetracked from being able to get out and do too much. I had a knee replacement, so I've been stuck at home most of the time. So really didn't have too much to say. So I really thought I'd tell you a humorous story about my visit to the hospital, but I've decided to kind of keep it short. After my surgery, I woke up in the maternity ward. So
I think it's best to leave it there.
I know I need to lose a little weight, but I didn't know. Anyway, but I do have a couple of other things really I wanted to mention. Of course, welcome to Jeff. Glad to see you back. What else did I have here? I'm not really big on following Facebook, but Lee keeps me informed sometimes some of the things that's on there that has to do with the school. And one of the things she mentioned to me was this past month that one of our principals got his doctorate. Principal Bill Pierce is now Dr. Pierce. What I understand.
He did not share that with us yet.
Well,
So you guys can walk around and go, doctor.
yeah.
And we will.
There knows something the superintendent doesn't. Nice.
And I did want to mention that I totally agree with the administration's decision to close down today. We've got to protect these kids. Even whenever it doesn't materialize, we really liked it that way. I wanted to mention that I appreciated Chris and Brian for making it to our bond meeting this past month, because we wouldn't have had a quorum if they hadn't showed up. Wanted to mention I didn't get to go see them perform, but the Winter Guard, the varsity, came in third in the state. And anytime you can finish that well and you're your name, like Yukon mentioned, with schools like Tulsa Union and Jinx, you're in some top competition. Our junior varsity actually came in first, so kudos to them. I think that is all I had. Oh, no, one other thing. I like to attend and do a lot of, go to a lot of things that the school's got going on, and I really missed not being able to participate in Reality Check. Those of you that know what Reality Check is, I think it's a real good program, and I usually get to be a used car salesman.
That's perfect, Leonard. Well, as it comes to my time, first of all, I want to start with Coach Moon and Coach Snyder. Thank you both so much for what you do. And I want you to know that, most people know that I'm on this board because my grandchildren are in this school. And my granddaughter is one of Coach Snyder's trainers, and my grandson is playing tennis. So you guys are, we've all got our kids doing their things. And so I love it to see this, and I love these awards, and I love that you guys are providing stability and foundation for our school. You bring that institutional history and that continuity, and that's important. So thank you so much for that. Welcome back, Jeff.
Thank you.
So glad to have you back. Dr. Simroff, thank you for your
Yeah.
preachy moment. I agree with everything you said there. And I know that this was hard. This situation has been really, really hard for everybody. And it's been scary for all of us and for our kids and for our parents. And I have not seen one single comment anywhere that anybody objected to school being closed today. I think everybody was fully on board with us do what it takes to keep the kids and our staff safe. I was at the National School Board Association meeting last week, and while I was there, I went to a breakout session on crisis communication. And it was put on by an attorney who represents a kind of a firm, and they go in when there's been a terrible, serious crisis and kind of help guide people through those things. And at the end, the man said, I can sum this all up. He put 6 things on the board to begin with. And then at the end, he said, I'm going to give you all my business card. It has the 6 things that you need to know on the back of my business card. And I was quite impressed with what he did, because a lot of it was just common sense. This is how you do it. This is how you handle it. And I want you to know that I have not shared that yet. And our district was just right on with what he had said. So I'm very proud of all of you for how you handled this and for your work and your efforts and all of the support that we've received from everybody and from our community. Dr. Brunk, I don't know what we're going to do without you. I know Diana's going to do a great job. But congratulations on your new job. And we're really happy for you for that, but we're sad for us. So go forth with our blessing. And we'll miss you. And then I want to sum this up with, as always, everything we do, everything you do, everything our community does, we are here to support our students, period. The kids are always the bottom line, period. Having good teachers is for our kids. Having all the activities, it's for the kids. We've got such good teachers and such good support for our students, and we're so blessed with that. Thank you, Dr. Brunt, for your part now. And so just everybody needs to know that our bottom line is always what's the best thing for our students. So I don't want to, take anything away from other people who are important, because they're the ones doing what has to happen to keep our students safe. So with that, I'm finished. We have upcoming meetings and events. Those are on the screen, I assume. Don't forget the plant sale, the 15th to the 22nd. Deanne put this on here because I'm always calling her saying, when is the plant sale? These are the best plants ever. I love the plant sale. So our Teacher of the Year event, let's not miss that. And then we don't have anybody who wants to address the board? No communications? Okay, finance consent docket. All of these will be discussed, considered, and approved or disapproved by one vote, unless someone wants to have a separate vote on any or all. And so is there any discussion, any questions? Are we all good?
Nothing really shattering on this month's
I didn't
docket.
see anything. Okay, so I would entertain a motion on items 7A through C.
I move that we approve 7A through 7C.
Thank you, Cody.
Second.
Thank you, Brian. Deanne?
Mr. Peanut,
Abstain.
Mr. Paul,
Yes.
Mr. Sanders,
Yes.
Mr. Wells,
Yes.
Mrs. Cannon.
Yes.
You will get all of the emails you want for the next month.
Okay, thank you.
All the documents,
Just to be fair.
just to be fair.
Okay. On item 8, our business consent docket, we have items 8A through F. And I am going to ask that we take item 8B out of this for a separate motion. So it would be a motion for items 8A and 8C through F. Is there a motion?
I move that we approve item 8A and item C through F.
Second?
Second.
Dan?
Mr. Peanut,
Abstain.
Mr. Olson,
Yes.
Mr. Sanders,
Yes.
Mr. Wells.
Yes.
Mrs. Cannon.
Yes. Okay, now we will look at item 8B.
I'll make a motion that we approve item 8B.
I'll second it.
Thank you. Vote, please.
Mr. Peanut,
Abstain.
Mr. Olson,
Yes.
Mr. Sanders,
Yes.
Mr. Wells,
Yes.
Mrs. Cannon.
Abstain. Okay, we've got. Are you sure 9 and 10 belong here?
Dr. Brown, would you like to explain the adjunct applications?
Yes, so the adjunct application, we have the ability within our board policy, if we have a teacher who's otherwise certified, but they're teaching, say, one subject out of their certification. So for example, Ms. Rippey that's on there, she's certified in intermediate math, and she's teaching one section of pre-AP calculus, which requires advanced math. And so that's what those are on there for. And there are ones that we just missed throughout our 87 people that we work with on this certification.
Okay. Any questions? No? Okay. Let's have a motion for item 9.
Make a motion that we approve item 9.
Second,
A second.
vote please.
Mr. Peanut,
Abstain.
Mr. Olson,
Yes.
Mr. Sanders,
Yes.
Mr. Wells.
Yes.
Mrs. Cannon.
Yes. Item 10. Is there a motion for that?
Move that we approve item 10.
Okay, second,
I'll second.
vote please.
Mr. Peanut,
Abstain.
Mr. Olson,
Yes.
Mr. Sanders,
Yes.
Mr. Wells.
Yes.
Mrs. Cannon.
Yes. Okay, item 11 is new business.
No, ma'am.
Okay, personnel docket is item 12. We need to vote to convene or not to convene in executive session pursuant to 25 OS 307B1. to discuss the resignations, employment of support and certified personnel, promotions, recommendation of change of assignment and/or transfers as listed in the additional attachments. Is there a motion on that?
I move that we not convene an executive session.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
He's back.
He's on it. Welcome back.
Mr. Behind,
Abstain.
Mr. Olson,
Yes.
Mr. Sanders,
Yes.
Mr. Wells,
Yes.
Ms. Anderson.
Yes.
So I would just briefly point out that we are so thankful for the administrators that we have in this district at each site. And this is the month where they are rehired and just a phenomenal group of educators. Okay.
Yes, they are, and we appreciate them so much. Okay, so we need to have an action on the attached Exhibit A, the personnel items and rehires as listed. Is there a motion on that?
I move we approve all items as presented in Exhibit A.
Okay, second,
Second.
Dan?
Mr. Behind,
Abstain.
Mr. Olson,
Yes.
Mr. Sanders,
Yes.
Mr. Wells,
Yes.
Ms. Anderson.
Yes. And now it's time for the Beheimer motions.
Well, I didn't get to interrupt, but I make a motion to adjourn this meeting.
Second, is there a second for that?
I'll second that.
Oh, please?
Mr. Behind,
Absolutely.
Mr. Olson,
Yes.
Mr. Sanders,
Yes.
Mr. Wells,
Yes.
Ms. Anderson.
Yes. Thank you guys for coming out tonight. I know it's been a rough couple of days.